Hi everyone, this is Shelly, and I'm making another video as part of my series called Homeschooling Simply, Educating Your Children in Wartime. And what a time we're in, right? We really are in a wartime. We're in war for our children. We're in war for their safety, for their hearts, for their minds, and we have significant government overreach that's mandating masking, that's pushing them to get vaccinated, and many of you have said you've had enough. And now you're having to pull your kids out of school altogether because even private schools are complying to these mandates. And I don't blame you. I wouldn't send my kids to school if they had to wear a mask all day. Horrible. It's unnecessary. So here you are, and some of you are going, oh no, I don't have a clue what to do. And so I hope you listened to my first video where the first thing I told you to do was just relax. It's gonna be okay. It's not complicated. There's just 3 things you need to focus on when you're homeschooling: reading, writing, and arithmetic. For real, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Now, some of you are going, but I don't know, what do they need to graduate and go to college and all stuff? Grab those thoughts, throw them on the shelf, and right now we're just talking about what to do tomorrow, what to do next week. Because in wartime, you can't think that far ahead. You gotta figure out what to do right now. For your family, for your home, for the safety of your children, for their lives, for their futures. This is the now steps that you take is for their future, but don't think about all that. Just think about tomorrow, okay? So I wanted to say again that homeschooling is simple, but simple doesn't mean chaos, okay? And it doesn't mean being unintentional. It doesn't mean some kind of fantasy, fluffy vision that you saw in a magazine where the photography is a little dressed up to make it all feel very romantic and wonderful. It's not any of that. And it's also not Little House on the Prairie. It's not any of that, okay? Throw that all out. That's not what I'm talking about. It's actually about a structure and a rhythm that you and your children can follow and follow easily, that brings peace and order into your household. For some of you who are working at home, this will really help you. For those of you not working at home, this will really help you. So to have an effective, simple homeschooling dynamic at home, you, mom and or dad, must start with a schedule. I'm just gonna say it like that. I'm not actually gonna suggest it. You really have to start with a schedule. Now, when I say schedule, don't get too nitty gritty. I'm not talking about every half hour, every 15 minutes. I mean, don't even create something like that. Your kids don't even want to look at anything like that. I'm not talking like that. We're talking about creating something really basic and doable for both you and your child. Something your child can read and follow and sustain. This is really important. So let me just tell you right up front that there's this lie that kind of accompanies people who haven't homeschooled, and when people talk about homeschooling, this is what they think. They think that homeschooling is taking the traditional model of a teacher in a classroom who teaches all day and just bringing that at home, okay? So mom or dad has to sit at the table all day and teach and facilitate all of the learning. No, that's a lie. I don't recommend that. That is not the way it works. Now, sometimes you hit hurdles. Sometimes you run into little seasons where you got to be more on task. But for the most part, that is not the truth, okay? So homeschooling is actually about teaching your child to be self-directed with their education. So, for example, when I was in school, I had math books, and in my math books, there were directions and explanation of the new concept. But I never read my math books. I would go to class, the teacher would go up front, explain the concept, review the problems, practice on the board, and then give us our assignment for homework or starting class and do homework. I never read my math books. But if you look at a math book actually provides the instruction for the new concept and the practice problem. So your child can actually read the math book and learn from the instruction of the math book and do the work. It's actually possible. Okay, it works. I know. My kids did it. Okay, so I know it works. So that's just an example of how a child can actually be self-sustaining in his or her education. But they're not necessarily going to be motivated. So they need a schedule that tells them, Mom and Dad expect me to complete this assignment this week. So for example, what I did when I was homeschooling is every Sunday night, I would, get my kids' books and I would do some grading and stuff, but I would open it up. I'd open up my son's math book and I go, oh, he's in this lesson. So on Monday, I want him to do this lesson. And sometimes, depending on the year and the level or their struggles or whatever, I might slow it down or I might split a lesson in half. Or sometimes they were getting it. I would scratch out problems and say, learn this concept and you don't need to do all these review problems. Just do these, why waste their time? But anyway, I would look at his math and go, okay, Monday you're going to do this. And on Tuesday, you're going to do this lesson with these problems. On Wednesday, you're going to do this lesson. Oh, Thursday, you're going to have a test. Or maybe Thursday, you do the review, and then Friday, you take the test, something like that. And that's how I'd write that down on Sunday night. And then I'd have their writing assignment or their reading assignment. Oh, he's reading Frankenstein. So on Monday, I want you to read pages 1 to 20. And on Tuesday, I want you to read pages 21 to 35, or, just depending on the goal that I had for them completing the book. Maybe I wanted him to be able to read the book in 2 weeks. So I would divvy it up, so he could get there. I might have on his, I'm talking about my youngest son now, I might have on his schedule, hey, I want you to do your laundry on Mondays. And then on Tuesday, I want you to go outside and bag, rake and bag 2 bags of leaves. So I would give him chores. So that was a schedule, and I would put that on the dining room table on Sunday night, and then my kids were required to start school by 8:30 in the morning, and he would grab his schedule and he would go to work. I always started with math because I felt like math they needed to be fresh first thing. And then I could go about my day. I could do my chores. I could go grocery shopping. Sometimes I had a part-time job. I could work. And then at any point, especially if I was out of the house and they got stuck, they'd call me and say, Mom, I can't do more of my math. I'm really stuck. I'd say, hey, okay, just pause and go to the next thing on your schedule. After I get home and I'm able to put the groceries away in the freezer and the refrigerator, let's connect on the issue. I'll help you with that, and then you can move forward. So that's how the schedule helped, and it really kept everything moving. It was very simple. And anytime, there was a Sunday where I just couldn't get the schedule out and there'd be, I didn't have it, I hated that week because then I always had to be right on hand to tell the kids what to do next. They'd be, well, what do I do next? Okay, do this, or how many pages do you want me to read? Okay, read this. And I just hated that. It felt like it entangled me. So I was very committed to get that schedule out because then they could self-direct. And I always said to them, listen, you wrestle with the instructions. You read the instructions of your assignment. And if you don't understand them, you come find me and we'll work it through. But I always made them start with reading their books, reading the instructions, and giving it a go. So that's what I did. And I made this really crude schedule, and I did this intentionally because I want you to know this doesn't have to be complicated. Eventually we made ours on a computer, but I actually did. I don't want you to ever feel like this is super professional. And you can see here, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have a friend, they had to take the days of the week off because they wanted to be able to sometimes do school on Saturday. And if that Saturday was not in the schedule, they were running into real issues with their child. So they just took that off altogether. And they have day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if on day 4 they decided to go to the zoo, they, you know, they could just move it over and she wouldn't have a fit because it didn't say the day of the week. But, you know, here I've got math and I've got lesson number, and you could write the lesson number, and I have the test on Thursday. And then on writing, I actually have here memorize Psalm 24 as part of their writing assignment. And I'm going to have a different video about writing and why I would actually have someone do memory work that's related to writing. But then, you know, on Tuesday I have write a paragraph about Dorothy and her family, because down here under reading I have this child reading The Wizard of Oz, and I actually just have a chapters assignment. So and in between writing and reading I have exercise, because they need to get up and they need to move. So I have, you know, on Monday they need to run around the block 2 times, and on Tuesday they need to walk the dog, and I just alternate. And then here for chores I have on Monday clean your room, Tuesday, wash your dirty clothes. Wednesday, put away the clean clothes. And on Thursday, cook dinner. Cook the main dish for dinner. You know, maybe that's could be part of their schedule. And on Friday, I want them to sweep the patio. So these are just different things. Oh, and then I have here, I just read aloud every single day. We're going to read aloud our book, whatever that book that we picked. So this is a basic schedule that you could set on the table, and they look at that and they go, okay, I know what to do. I know to start with math. And then, you know, they can even negotiate. They can say, Mom, would it be okay if I did my memorizing first and then my math afterwards? And depending on how they're doing or whatever, you can change that. But that's how you do a schedule. And trust me, if you embrace that discipline in your thinking and in your life, and you create that for your child, there will be peace. And if you have a child that doesn't read, you can use color coding. There's all kinds of creative ways that you can do that. But trust me, if you want a simple homeschool environment, you gotta do this. All right. Talk to you later, everyone. Bye.